So now I want to shift the focus a little bit, and let's talk a little about internal versus external innovation at EMC.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's a great point. I mean, when we think about things like R&D, the development of a product, it's generally a very internally biased process because you're ultimately responsible for building that product, and we tend to think about how to optimize it inside of the company. When you think about innovation, on the other hand, that model doesn't really work as well, and it's because the best way to do innovation is to cast a very, very wide net. And the best way to cast a wide net is to acknowledge that your core corporation and the people inside your company may not have all the points of view. And so the best innovation cultures and the best innovation organizations in the world tend to think about where are the other places where innovation is happening. And so they will focus on some of the traditional places like academic research and governmental research where you have people who have a longer view, a longer time horizon. But one of the most interesting places that we're finding in terms of doing innovation is actually with customers. Because while the customers may not know what the answer to the problem is, they are the people most intimately aware of what the problem is. And they also can identify when you've solved it. And so more and more we're shifting to look at ways to actually engage with customers proactively, not just in terms of selling them a product, but in actually defining what that product should be and how we solve a new unmet problem. We have a new program that we put in place called Open Innovation Lab, which basically is a distributed environment that puts technical teams close to the customers to focus on finding these unmet problems, working closely with the customers, all the way to the point of developing a proof of concept that ultimately steers our overall product roadmap by figuring out the answer to that complex problem. The purpose of innovation is to answer a problem, answer a question, find a solution. The best way to do that is to have as many people in the world trying to solve that problem with you. And the best way to do that is to be very, very open in terms of engaging with the external ecosystem.
That's right. Fantastic.
Yeah, John, what great points, but think about it, how to really make it happen. We have a huge opportunity with the COEs. We're already present in these environments, in these countries, building that academia relationships, leveraging that network, right, having an impact. I mean, a lot of the COEs are already doing that. If you look at an Israel COE, how we connect with the Tel Aviv University. In Bangalore, we have multiple universities that we connect with in China, right? So we have an enormous impact, not only impact, but also how do we learn from them? How do we get that brain cells, the brain power in leveraging and building that global brain capacity.
Well, one of the fascinating things I learned about basically the academia relationships, especially in China, that you touch on, right? Being in Shanghai, Fudan University, a number of others. There's such an interconnected, kind of interwoven relationship here between industry, academia, and basically government, right?
Right.
So it's actually a direct path to sales as well. Pretty fascinating, right? The professors are viewed as experts, as they should be.
Absolutely. I mean, when you look at it, the network is enormous.
Yeah.
But the trick is going to be how do you really leverage it without shortchanging somebody, because the academia wants something out of it, EMC wants something out of it, the customer wants something out of it. How do you weave this network together that it's a win-win across?
And one of the most pleasant surprises when I joined the company about a year ago as I was looking at how to ramp up innovation, how to make sure we could continuously improve, was when I discovered that we had this COE footprint. And we already had a presence in countries all over the world. We already had relationships with universities and with governments. Now, can we better integrate them? Can we better align them? Absolutely. There's always room for improvement. But I've been in companies where they didn't do that they were very focused on one geography or just their headquarters. And the process to build out that global footprint sometimes can take decades. The fact that we already have that global footprint means that we have an asset that, quite frankly, is a huge, huge advantage for EMC. And now it's just an exercise of using it more effectively, more tightly integrating it into our innovation process, and being able to actually leverage the environment. And so, great point.
No, it is. And how do we leverage that core strength? Sometimes we don't even know the strengths we have, right? And how do we really leverage that strength to accelerate our growth, our presence, our penetration in the local market? We talk about reverse innovation, right? What does it really mean? How do we get more excitement from the employees that we have in that local market where they feel proud of the fact that they're having an impact in their nation?
That's exactly right. And the beautiful thing is in these diverse cultures, right? I mean, you have such a large cultural conversation that comes into focus here as well. They're the feet on the ground. They understand the customers in that area the best. They can translate that back. You get that reverse innovation. The synergy works. It comes to their market first, and then we tend to find that there's translatability there as well to every other market.
Calvin, what a great point, right? Why should we have to helicopter in talent?
That's right.
When we have local talent that
That's right.
understands the local market, right? And John just referred to Opal Innovation Lab or innovation capability, right? What about at the customer for the customer? If we have local talent that can understand the customer needs and help accelerate our ability to deliver to the customer, think about the win we get out of that.
Let's leverage it. Thank you for that. Excellent points.